Rate and review Marijuana Today Daily on iTunes today. Just search for the term marijuana and let us know how we're doing. This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by the good folks over at Ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Ease is excited to now be active in the Sacramento area. If you hail from that part of the Golden State, you can now fire up Ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, to place an order for legal cannabis products. From flower to concentrates and from edibles to topicals, Ease has you covered. And since June is designated as LGBTQ Pride Month, Ease is donating 5% of all its proceeds for the month to the very worthy organization Out and Equal, which works to boost workplace equality for the LGBTQ+ community. You can learn more about Out and Equal over at their website at outandequal.org, with those three words all spelled out in full, outandequal.org. And as always, Ease.com is the place to go to find legal marijuana products for delivery in California and to tap into their collection of industry insight and analysis developed from their properly aggregated and anonymized sales data stream. Big thanks to everyone over at Ease for the support that makes today's news possible. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, June 28th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 521 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story today is the marijuana-related legislation introduced yesterday into the U.S. Congress by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York. We picked up on this storyline back in April as Senator Schumer first announced his intention to file the bill on 4/20. Tom Angel has a good write-up of the bill over at his site Marijuana Moment that's worth the read. The bill is called the Marijuana Freedom and Opportunity Act and would deschedule marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act. The bill is co-sponsored by Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Democratic Senators Tim Kaine of Virginia and Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. The far-reaching legislation would also open up interstate commerce between states with legalized cannabis, as well as set up a program to support industry entrepreneurialism among women and people from communities that have been historically most negatively impacted by the war on marijuana. You can pop over to Marijuana Moment to read the full text of the bill and to scoop up more detail and context. The ever-prolific Tom Angel, this time writing over at Forbes, holds on to today's headlines with his second appearance, this time with this story out of Delaware about a vote held yesterday in the state legislature over legislation to legalize adult-use cannabis that passed with a majority, but not the supermajority required. Delaware state legislative rules require that prospective bills introducing new taxes and fees get 60% support to pass, a level that the legislation fell short yesterday by 4 votes, landing at a final tally of 21-15. While it obviously would have been nice if the bill could have gotten those 4 votes and passed, it's still a pretty clear signal that the state is ready for change when it comes to marijuana policy. Hopping over the Atlantic Ocean for our final story today, with big progress being made in the storyline of 12-year-old Billy Caldwell, who, with his mother Charlotte, has been pressing for immediate changes to the nation's medical marijuana laws after returning back from a recent trip to Canada, from which their much-needed CBD oil was seized by British customs officials. Yesterday, a government panel hastily assembled after the Caldwell's CBD oil was taken and then quickly returned, announced that medical cannabis could be made available to British patients in need in as few as 2 weeks. Under the plan, approved and registered doctors would be free to prescribe medical cannabis immediately to qualifying patients, while lawmakers take time to consider and craft a more permanent set of guidelines. Open up the Independent for more on this one. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, is, of course, where you can go to place an order for legal California marijuana products for delivery, but it's also a fantastic place to go for valuable bits of industry insight and analysis developed by the editorial and analytical team over at Ease. Ease is sitting on a very large sales data pipe, which they properly aggregate and anonymize before setting their writing and number wizards free on it, who parse out information, knowledge, and wisdom to be shared up at ease.com. If you could benefit from having a better understanding of cannabis consumers, then you really need to check out all that's up for offer over at ease.com. Just open up ease.com and scroll down a touch past the ordering box and sales items to find all their treasure trove of editorial and analytical gold. Big thanks to everyone over at Ease for all the support. All right, time for the Blitz. Bloomberg News picked up on a revised projection for how big California's legal marijuana industry will get for the year due to hiccups to the new licensing rollout process. BDS Analytics had pegged California's legal marijuana industry to generate $3.7 billion in sales this year, but thanks to how slow the transition into a new set of stricter rules is going, just downgraded that expectation to $2.9 billion. It looks like New Jersey cannabis users are going to have to wait a little longer before they can buy and consume legal adult use marijuana, as news out of the Golden State is that lawmakers have tabled the push for adult use legalization until after they resolve larger budgetary issues. New Jersey's legislature meets year-round, and there's a lot of hopeful talk among activists and advocates about the potential for legislative change, so the storyline could flare back up as we head into the fall and winter months. Yesterday, the city of Las Vegas held a public workshop to talk about the idea of allowing for the opening of marijuana consumption lounges. This very long storyline has Las Vegas as a city where it's very easy to buy legal cannabis in, but nearly impossible to find a legal place to consume it, unless, of course, you live in Las Vegas. And as most people know, the majority of people who are in Vegas at any one point are visiting from afar. Yesterday's meeting was just the first step towards the idea, and city attorneys told attendees that the city council will be taking the next 3 months to gather feedback before considering a vote on the matter. David Downs over at Leafly has a great story up about a case in Arizona involving the use of medical marijuana concentrates by registered medical marijuana patients. Yesterday, an Arizona State Appeals Court panel ruled that the state's definition of medical marijuana only includes the flower form, not concentrates. That's a problem because a number of prohibitionist sheriffs in the state have taken to arresting medical marijuana patients for possessing non-flower cannabis and slapping them with very real prison sentences. David's reporting that the case will likely head to the state Supreme Court and that most Arizona dispensaries continue to stock non-flower product in the meantime. New Cannabis Ventures has a long and detailed update on the fourth quarter fiscal results from Canadian giant Canopy Growth, which saw a loss of just under $23 million with revenues just around the same. The company is reporting healthy reserves with $323 million in cash on hand and more than $100 million in inventory. All dollar figures for this one are in Canadian. Pop over to New Cannabis Ventures for all the details and whatnot on this one. Kyle Yeager over at the Indispensable Marijuana Moment has a great roundup of how things went on Tuesday in Oklahoma, which passed one of the more progressive medical marijuana measures around with the noted point of having no set list of qualifying conditions. Kyle's story pulls together details on the election itself, as well as some thoughts on how things could develop for the program in the coming months. Wrapping up today's stories is a good headline about the embrace of CBD medicine by a professional 3-on-3 basketball league employing mostly retired NBA players that's owned by rapper, actor, and entrepreneur Ice Cube, a noted and longtime fan of cannabis use. Ice Cube's Big 3 League announced yesterday that its players were now free to use CBD to treat pain and to ease their post-performance recovery, making it the first professional sports league in the nation to do so. Previously, a professional soccer team in Las Vegas said that its players were free to indulge in marijuana as long as their on-field performance wasn't negatively impacted, but before this, no league had taken that step. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Just a quick reminder, we're taking all of next week off as a company, so there will be no daily email newsletters or podcasts. We'll be back in the full swing of things on Monday, July 9th. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.